Okay, so the emergence of a large number of IP devices is creating the need for transcoding of content for display. RipCodes is the next company they'll be presenting, and they're going to show their on-demand video transcoding solution, which eliminates the need to pre-transcode content ahead of viewership and gives operators the ability to extend their presence to multiple channels. RipCode will show an on-demand transcode of a video to a mobile device and how that content can be monetized using dynamic video ad insertion. Please welcome Neil Hartzell, the Vice President of Marketing for RipCode.
Good morning, and thank you for giving us a chance to speak with you today. So, as per the introduction, we want to tell you a little bit about something called network-based video transcoding. Let me start by giving you a few factoids to put into context what we're going to talk about here. We need to establish, what does the term video mean? So now you have, of course, long-form content that everyone here is familiar with, short-form content. You have professionally generated content, user-generated content. You have content that is broadcast live, content that is broadcast from tape. You've got video on demand. And now that world has gotten complicated because you don't just have to think about video from a traditional broadcast transmission perspective, but there's also internet-based delivery and now mobile delivery. So now we have to concern ourselves with different kinds of video, and specifically, where is it stored, what network will it be delivered across, and what is the receiving device, all of which play into an area of complexity, particularly when you think about preparing that content or transcoding it to the receiving device as it needs to be. So let's look at some statistics. Just in December of last year, over 14 billion online videos were watched. That was up 13% just in 1 month. So online video is a very real and growing phenomenon, and I know you're all familiar with that. But to put it in the context of this audience, let's compare that to TV consumption. So the average American household has 2.7 people, and on the order of 2.9 TVs. So that's an interesting factoid in and of itself. And if we go back and look at the amount of video consumption, there's on the order of 142 hours per person per month being viewed. And that's actually up from a year ago, from third quarter 07 to third quarter 08. So that's a startling figure when you do the math. It's about 5 hours per day. I'm sure many of you are not 5 hour per day TV watchers, but clearly a lot of people are. Now we have internet consumption of video. And in 3Q of 07, 3Q 08, there's a typo there. There were 27 hours of video consumption watched per month, up about an hour and a half from the prior time, or the prior year, same quarter. So what does this mean? Well, it doesn't mean that online video is replacing TV time. They are additive, but we do have to be concerned about these trends, particularly from a monetization and specifically advertising point of view. So just a couple of points here. From a display ad perspective, which is what most people are accustomed to, it's the static banner impressions that you see on all the web pages you hit. 4.5 trillion display ads shown to US internet users in 2008. And that's actually not a very good advertising location for advertisers because it's enormously fragmented. But if you look at the video model, Hulu's a good proxy. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Hulu. So now we have more and more internet users and increasingly mobile users looking at long-form content in the form of TV shows, Lost, 24, and whatnot, on other mediums. And advertisers are very drawn to this. And it's interesting, if you look at what Hulu gets in terms of ad revenue, it's greater than the same content revenue generated for TV time. So just some interesting backdrop points. So what does that mean relative to RipCode? Well, the innovation that we are here to tell you about today is a single video transcoding platform that does two forms of transcoding. One is real-time transcoding, and two is on-demand transcoding. You need to be concerned about both if you're interested in moving your content or extending your brand away from the traditional TV and down to internet TV or mobile devices. So what you see here is one box that can do VOD or live content transcoding and prepare that content for mobile devices or desktop devices. It goes a step further than that, though. Transcoding is a very technical science, the mathematics of moving one digital format to another. But there's a lot more involved in terms of making this a commercially viable solution. And so if we look at the chart, what you see is you have to concern yourself with all forms of content, as we talked about. You need to have the ability to prepare that content, get it delivered to, in a most extreme case, a mobile device very quickly. It's got to be done real time. It's got to deliver a good quality of experience for the end user, and it has to be able to be monetized. That turns out to be a very difficult thing to do in a real-time perspective. That's the problem that RipCode has solved. So to compare, if you look at VOD today for the internet, for example, you take a piece of source content and you transcode it to multiple output formats, H.264, H.263, Flash, so on down the line. And that means you now need to store every one of those formats at a CDN point for distribution out to receiving devices. The on-demand concept is different. It says you wait until someone asks for a piece of content, and then you transcode it on the fly for their particular device, real time, without compromising the quality of experience. That's what RipCode does. That simplifies the complexity of managing a large amount of content, and it goes way beyond just the cost of storage, which we all know is dropping precipitously. It's about the total cost of ownership of maintaining this content store in a lot of locations, and you don't have to do it that way. And there are rights management issues around that, as I'm sure you know. So what we're talking about is being able to keep up with the fast time to market required to push new content to any device whenever it's on demand. Okay. I'm going to turn the attention here to a demo where we can show you an actual on-demand transcode taking place on the fly. So I have Manny Rojas, who is one of our sales engineers, and what we're going to be demonstrating is on a BlackBerry Bold, a live transcode of a movie clip. I think in this particular case, you're going to use, which one? No Country? Okay, No Country for Old Men. This is the exact experience that an end user would go through. Hopefully the network bandwidth is going to cooperate with us here today. You can't hear the audio because we're on just an Elmo video device, but you get the point. Now, the quality is actually pretty good. It's better if you see it on the device because we're actually projecting through 1,000 feet of cable over a projector back to a screen. It's not an ideal replication of what you see on the device. But this is being done on demand, so frames are being delivered to the end device before the entire file has been transcoded. And to do that in real time with quality is quite a trick. Okay, let me show you very quickly what you've just seen. And I'm short on time, so I'm going to move quickly. There are a number of steps that have to be done here, and we can go through this in detail with you on the demo floor. So all of these steps in terms of recognizing what that device is, understanding what content it wants, getting it transcoding, stitching in an advertisement, all in real time without any human intervention is something else. And so that's what we do, and that's what's special about the RipCode story. Now, we also do this for live content. Here you see examples, and you can see this on the show floor, where not just on demand, but you can take a real-time broadcast MPEG-2 TS stream, split that out to multiple simultaneous feeds to mobile and desktop devices, all real time. So to close, how's this relevant to you? Well, you guys own a great property in terms of the brand of moving cable content to the big screen. You're also into triple play, but there's an equally large opportunity for you to extend your content and extend your brand presence down to internet devices and even mobile devices. If you could just flash the chart very quickly. So specifically what we'd like to talk to you about here on the show floor today is how do you move your broadcast content aggregation to desktop and mobile? How do you extend your own brand? And then how do you capture advertising dollars which if you look at the Hulu example quoted early, there's going to be a great opportunity for additional revenue there. Thank you very much.